Fellow citizens, this weekend as we celebrated our nation's independence, I received some extremely troubling texts from the campaign of our incumbent Senator Ann Rivers, and more specifically the Senator's husband, Fred Rivers. In those texts, Rivers unleashes a vulgarity-filled text storm tirade that appears completely unhinged. The extremely foul and offensive language includes a direct threat against me, first her constituent and now her political opponent. I was truly disturbed by what I read. The text storm began Friday morning at 8:55 a.m. It intensified Friday night at 10:57 p.m. and spiraled out of control until after midnight. I did not respond. I waited, wanting calmer heads to prevail. Sunday morning at 7:30 a.m., I sent a text to Senator Rivers. She responded at 7:46 a.m. She denied all knowledge of the incident and demanded that I never contact her again. You can read the entire exchange in the story posted at electjohnlee.com. The late-night rant by the senator's husband threatened to weaponize emails and communications I had with Senator Rivers while I was her constituent and she was my elected representative. Rivers says the senator voted to keep those emails and communications secret in an effort to protect me and other constituents. Yet now he threatens to release those communications to the public in some jaded perception that they may harm me or my campaign. The language he uses is vulgar, offensive, and completely inappropriate. His veiled threats are truly shocking, as he indicates that he has access to those communications and will publicize them. How does the husband of a sitting senator have access to the senator's constituent emails and communications? One would think that Senate ethics rules govern conduct concerning constituent communications and would most certainly prohibit the publication of them for political purposes. The Rivers campaign apparently believes I fear a discussion about a decade-long battle I had with an out-of-control state agency. I don't. My nightmare battle against a state bureaucracy called the Department of Financial Institutions, or DFI, began in 2007 and finally ended this year, 13 years later. Bottom line, I won. A Clark County Superior Court judge completely exonerated me. He threw out the $50,000 fine levied against me. Finally, a judge ended what had been a baseless prosecution for offering investment opportunities as part of a company I built and managed in 2006. No citizen should have to go through the hell I endured for over a decade. No citizen should have their elected representative initially agree to help them, but then abandon them when they actually needed help the most. Government is supposed to serve the people. Our elected representatives are supposed to serve the people. But Senator Ann Rivers didn't serve this constituent. Instead, she abandoned me. In the end, I had to fight without a lawyer during an initial 7-day hearing. It turned out to be a kangaroo court. Ultimately, upon appeal, a Clark County Superior Court judge stated the following, quote, "The court is not aware of any injured parties, whereas DFI is enforcing the statute as a general public policy obligation. And there is insufficient evidence in the record to support findings by the ALJ and the OAH, and as such they erred as a matter of law, finding that Lee violated the WSSA by recklessly selling life settlement products. Therefore, the decision of the ALJ and OAH, which affirmed DFI's statement of charges, is reversed and remanded to vacate the sanction." Unquote. No injured parties. None of my clients complained about anything related to my presentation of the business opportunity. The only witnesses the government had were 2 government bureaucrats. I had 5 clients who testified that I was extremely truthful and was not misleading. But I went through hell fighting these baseless charges. Senator Rivers told me that upon her having a meeting with state officials in an attempt to advocate for my fight, she was, quote, treated as poorly as she has ever been treated in Olympia. And only months later, I experienced the abrupt termination of Senator Rivers' advocacy altogether. As your senator, I will stand up for what is right. I will stand up for you. I will never abandon you. I have fought and won against an out-of-control, abusive government agency. No citizen should have to endure what I went through. It's one of the reasons I want to represent you in Olympia, to fight for we the people, not for out-of-control government bureaucracy. I want to serve you. You, the citizens of the 18th District, now have a choice to make. The incumbent's husband is threatening to use communications to a sitting state senator as a political weapon. He somehow has access to the incumbent's official communications and is willing to weaponize them for political purposes on behalf of his wife and her campaign. Is this the type of representative you want? Is this conduct acceptable? Are the words and the threats being cast by the Rivers campaign offensive to you? It is to me, and it will not stand. Find out more about my fight for constituent advocacy at electjohnlee.com. You can say no more to an elected representative who may refuse to represent you and your interests. You can demand a change and vote for a proven fighter who wins in the end against an out-of-control government bureaucracy. I ask for your vote on August 4th.